So this is our last Sunday together for some time, which is very hard for me to actually process, if I'm honest. The sabbatical committee and I know that we have communicated a lot through emails, on Realm, with the pamphlet that was circulated. And also we know that information doesn't always reach everyone. So we're gonna take some time today to just go over what's going on so everyone really knows what's happening. After this coming week, I will be on 12 weeks of maternity leave, which flows straight into 6 months of sabbatical. So what that means is that starting next Saturday, essentially, until early or mid-July, I won't be here at all. So not on Sundays, not during the week, not for work, not for visits. This time apart is designed first to allow me to focus on this new life, and then on projects and passions that are impossible for me to focus on while working full-time. During these 9 months, there is an expectation that we are completely out of touch. Essentially, that means no emails, no texts, no Facebook messages, no calls, nothing, which sounds really harsh, I understand, but it's what allows this time apart to mean the most for both me and for you. And I will observe those same boundaries. Of course, there are ways for the covering minister to contact me in case of truly extenuating circumstances, but the determination of when that's appropriate will be made by leadership and Reverend Jennifer. So during these 9 months, in a way that you haven't needed to for the past 6 years, if you need something, you gotta talk to each other, not me. And it also means you can't call Jack the minute something happens, or Anne in the office, or the sabbatical committee. You can absolutely contact them, but they're not like your go-to person for everything, right? The hope and the expectation is that you will go back to all that information about the circles, about the sabbatical committee, about who the different people are to contact for different things. There's a whole cheat sheet list of who you get in touch with if this is going on or that's going on. I have said for years that congregations are not their ministers, and I have always said that not to diminish the role of the minister, but rather to elevate the truth of mutual care and congregational longevity. Unitarian Universalist congregations work because of the people, because of you. You are the heart and the soul, the history and the future of the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood. The care and commitment you provide to one another, the vision that you hold, the choices that you make sustain this community. And that will be even more evident during this sabbatical time. And I am acutely aware that it's going to be weird and strange and different, and that perhaps you have big feelings about it. So I'm actually, as the first turning to each other, we're going to take a couple minutes, and as you are willing, I'm going to invite you to turn to your neighbor and just talk for 2 minutes together about what are you worried about for this time? What are you hopeful for this time? What are you going to commit to in caring for this community? What are you feeling today? I know, it's nice to chat. But this is exactly the kind of conversations you will have to keep having, right? Talk to each other about what's working and what isn't. Don't stay silent if you need something, right? Be exactly what you know how to be, which is a loving and caring and open and honest community. Help each other stay here at the table, talking, committed, and moving forward. So it has been hard for me to know what to say today. And there is many a preaching professor who would say, you are never supposed to show your hand in this way. Don't tell them it was hard. But over 6 years in, you know that sometimes I'm going to tell you how it feels to be on this side of the room. This August began my 11th year of what we call solo parish ministry. I was ordained in the spring of 2013, called to my first settlement that fall, and after 4 years there, came here. This means that for the last 10 plus years, I have experienced the privileges and challenges, the responsibilities and triumphs, the grief and joy of ministering to communities of people. On the day of a Unitarian Universalist ordination, the minister is given a charge. It's one of the sections of the ritual. It can look different for each individual in each ceremony, but there are threads that flow through them all. We are charged with being authentic, honest, compassionate. We're charged with being clear in our communication, maintaining healthy boundaries, working always on becoming our best selves. We're charged with acknowledging our missteps, setting examples of humility and vulnerability, knowing that we are no better or worse than anyone else. We're charged with leading, organizing, encouraging. We are charged with speaking truth inside the walls of our churches and outside of them, with challenging structures of power, with deepening our collective understanding of justice. We're charged with holding the stories of the people who trust us, looking out for the community as a whole and each individual in it, creating a culture of welcome. We are charged with being by the side of our community members for births, deaths, and everything in between. We're charged with listening to the people, reflecting on the world, speaking regularly on what matters most. And in order to do this, we take on, as my colleague, the Reverend Galen Gingrich, put it at my ordination, the role of prophet, priest, preacher, and pastor, and also the role of volunteer recruiter and cheerleader, counselor and confidant, CEO and head of staff, fundraiser and public face, writer and orator, safety expert and emergency plumber, decision maker, and so much more. It's a job that comes with a lot of different hats. And also, to be very clear, it is one that comes with innumerable opportunities for grace, growth, blessings, and fulfillment. In these past 10 years since being ordained, I have certainly fallen short of fulfilling the charge given to me at my ordination. In these past 10 years, I have certainly at times lacked sufficient gratitude for the blessing and privilege of the work of ministry. And in the past 10 years, I have certainly at times wondered if I wanted to forsake the charge offered to me and find a different path. If we are very real, the work of ministry isn't easy under any circumstances. Do it in a religion like ours that has some ambivalence when it comes to authority figures, a self-funding process that adds a distinct layer of financial stress, and a theological openness that asks ministers to reflect and to embody a wide array of beliefs, and it gets harder. Add to that a global pandemic that has changed the face of ministry forever, while also creating grief and uncertainty and a deep sense of our own finitude. Under those circumstances, it at times feels close to impossible. If I am very real with you this morning, ministry in a parish means having windows into the worst of what folks can be and do to each other. It means absorbing others' criticisms and high expectations with a differentiated and self-aware stance, remaining untriggered, at least publicly, by others' projections. It means taking seriously feedback you'd rather just discard. One is never not on in the grandest sense. You have to be perpetually self-reflective, willing to be wrong and to say it out loud, open to hearing what could be different, grounded in your own being. And then you have to help everyone else try to do all those things too. The work is constant and challenging and discouraging at times, and it's changing rapidly. None of us really knows what's going to happen to congregational life moving forward, what it will mean in the next 10 to 20 years to be part of a community like this. They didn't teach us about global pandemics in seminary. And, this is the part, and I have been so lucky to serve with you, a congregation that is healthy and stable, a congregation that believes in its minister and its staff and supports one another. A congregation that understands that this thing we do and build together isn't easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Because even when it is unclear to me that our larger culture recognizes the value of small, mutually caretaking community in which one invests time, energy, and resources, the value is very clear to me and to those of you who are here. I see the value of what we do. I know you do too. It is small communities designed to consider the deepest meanings of life and to hold our hands through all the stages of our living. It's in those communities that we are seen and known and loved, and that our joy increases. And that makes all the difference in the journey of our lives. Congregational life is vital, and I will never stop believing that. And I will never stop believing that the gifts of ministry are very, very real. Because in addition to those challenges, these past 10 plus years, I have gotten windows into the best of what humans can be and do for each other. I have been lovingly held accountable and encouraged in my own growth. I've been respected and given praise. I have welcomed new babies into the world. I have sat at deathbeds with you. I have helped folks of all types embark on their married lives together. I've gotten to listen and hug and help through all sorts of human moments, learning more about life and myself. I have watched friendships be formed, be strained, dissolve. I have shepherded folks through life stages and emotional processes. I've helped alongside volunteers to lead a community. That is no small thing. And I have lived alongside people for the past 6 years alongside you, and it has been a privilege, if not at every moment a pleasure. It is no small thing to be in the position I have been in. And I have been the recipient of a very particularly special gift, which is Sunday after Sunday and online throughout the week, folks deem it reasonable to spend their time listening to me. And that is an unbelievable, almost unspeakable privilege, and a joy and a challenge. And I love that part of the work, this work that you have allowed me to do here among you. So I need you to understand, to the best that I can explain it, that it also feels really strange to me to embark on this time apart. John O'Donohue's poem does speak to the exhaustion and burnout I feel, but also to my anticipation that being allowed for 9 months to set down the burdens of ministry will not actually be easy. Ordination, a charge, a call to ministry doesn't just turn off comfortably or quickly. But I truly believe that this time will contribute to our mutual growth. I'm going to have the chance to write in other ways for other projects, the chance to take classes in areas that, while perhaps not directly related to ministry, will inspire me and deepen my engagement with creation and imagination. I'll get the chance to move slow and cultivate silence and bake and knit and write poetry and breathe in unconditioned air, as Wendell Berry recommends. I'll have time to remember what it is to be. And I cannot sufficiently put into words how grateful I am for this opportunity, and how joyful it will be to come back together when it is done and share what we've learned and how we've grown. So the most important thing I can say this morning is simply thank you. Thank you. I will miss you and this, and I am deeply appreciative of the time that we will have apart. I have for you the very smallest of gifts. As Ron is going to play some special music, you're invited to come up to the table and take one of these pieces of butterfly paper off the table and bring it back to your seat with you, okay? So what you've taken from the table is a small piece of seed paper in the shape of a butterfly. I have started to think of this time that we will spend apart as chrysalis time, transformational time for me and for you, for the congregation at large. So embedded in those little pieces is a North American wildflower blend, So it's got snapdragons, petunias, some of these, I don't know what they are, beard tongues, someone here knows what that is, daisy, thyme, poppy, catchfly, maiden pinks, and chamomile. Can't promise they're all in every single piece, but that's the blend. And if you bury it about 1/8 of an inch below the soil, pack a little bit of dirt on top, this is what the instructions said, keep it moist and lit with 4 hours of sun each day, in about 1.5 months, you'll have sprouting. And these can grow up to 3 feet tall, I am told. They can be planted in your garden, in a pot in this garden. If you check with the garden folks, don't just plant randomly. And there are enough left over that what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them in a container and they will live over here. So on any given Sunday, if you find you need more during these months apart, you can take another and plant again. It is a very small offering from me to you, an offering of life, of beauty, of growth, an offering designed to enliven your own identity as creator, to encourage your role as nurturer, and to awaken your senses. The flowers that bloom can hopefully be a reminder of my wishes for you during this time. My wishes for you are that you find your relationship to this community and its people deepened through the mutual care and compassion you'll be called to in this time. That you continue to commit your presence, energy, time, and resources to building this beloved community of welcome. That you encourage in each other honesty, vulnerability, and humility, asking for and offering forgiveness, and remembering that none of us is perfect. That you cultivate gratitude for each other, especially for the leadership that's going to keep this community solid and grounded. That you continue your own becoming and transforming and growing with hope and determination, and then that you tell me all about it when I'm back, because I want to know. Thank you for these past years. I am very excited for the more to come on the other side of this sabbatical time. May our time apart strengthen our commitment to one another, allow us to re-engage in our shared call to ministry, deepen our love for one another, and bring us great joy. So may it be. We extinguish the flame, the hope of truth, the warmth of love, and the energy of action burn bright in our hearts until we are together again. May we breathe deeply and make the best of each day we are given. With gratitude, hope, and love, I say for the last time for a little while, go in peace. Hello, Zoom friends. Hi, Zoom friends.